Do you want to sell more tickets to your amazing events? EventFrame event ticketing has been built to minimize the amount of time it takes to buy a ticket. Result, you sell more tickets. Check out eventframe.com.
Okay, welcome to the Events Podcast, where we talk to people running all kind of events, from large conferences and trade shows through to meetups, people supporting their community. And I'm delighted to be talking today to Gemma Stow. So hello, Gemma.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, good. We just talked before we started, and we're both from Yorkshire, which is cool. Yeah. We're actually from pretty close to each other as well. You're from Todmorden originally.
Yeah.
I'm from Haworth.
It's a very small world, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Strange.
It is. I was telling you before, I live in Prague in Czech Republic. I'm actually in my office now in Prague, and it's funnily enough, there's a bunch of Yorkshire people that actually meet up in Prague who've been here for a long time, like 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
So,
wow, that's cool. What a lovely city to live in, Prague. Amazing.
It is good. I like it. You know, when you live here, it's not the sort of tourist things you think of, you don't go to there as much, yeah. You know, like, it's like if you live in London, you don't really go to like the centre that much. So you're kind of this weird world where you sort of live more in the suburbs, you know, and for me, the things I like about living here are more like just the countryside, you know. I mean, I can go skiing like an hour from where I live. I live just outside Prague. I get to the Austrian Alps in 5 hours drive. So things like that, I really love, like the sort of outdoor lifestyle here, which people don't really associate with it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
So look, great to talk to you. So I guess to kick things off, if you could just give us a quick overview. Obviously, I've looked at your website. Your website's gemmastow.com, GEMMASTOW. But if you could just give a quick overview of your background and what you do, because it's pretty interesting, I think.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. Well, I currently work with women who class themselves as introverts and working for themselves, so building their own business. And I love to do that because I class myself as an introvert. And I know from my previous business, it was a big thing that held me back a lot. Those things that I kind of used to avoid, like presenting, public speaking, going to networking events, introducing myself, selling things, pitching things, and promoting in general. Yeah. And I've realised in this business now, a lot of my clients have come up against similar things. So I love to help women who class themselves have got that introversion, that introverted personality, but are really good at what they do in their business. But because of the things that they're trying to avoid, like selling themselves, which, as we know, is the cornerstone to any business, I like to help them have that confidence to be more visible and to do networking and get out there and just basically put their business on the map.
It's interesting. The whole introvert thing, I find it interesting because it's like, there's a lot of like disagreement on what actually categorizes as an introvert, isn't it? Because like a lot of I would class myself as an introvert, and a lot of people would, but then I would meet people that they say, no, that's ridiculous, you're not introverted. But yes. It's like, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, you can probably tell me more about it, because, you know, it seems to me it's like, it's got, you know, you can classify it a lot of different ways.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people tell me that I'm not one, which I find fascinating. And I think that's because they see me online doing Facebook Lives and sharing things about my journey and my story. And they always seem to think it's about being shy and not confident. And it's actually not that at all. I don't know if you agree with me, but, you know, being an introvert myself, it's more about energy and where I get my energy from. So I love to go out and socialize, don't get me wrong, but I love connecting with people rather than, you know, being swamped in a big event. Or I love that time to myself. I really love the time to myself, especially now I'm a mom with 2 little kids. Yeah. It's really nice to have that time to reflect and just kind of get my energy back. There's a big difference between introverts and extroverts, whereas they get their energy from, you know, outside, externally, rather than internally. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. It's interesting. Like, I really enjoy conferences actually, but only to a certain size. Like, I'm in this group. It's called Dynamite Circle, and it's kind of an entrepreneurs group. It's pretty interesting actually. Most people in there run location independent businesses. And we have a conference every year in Bangkok, and there's one in Austin, Texas as well, which I go to every year. And it's cool because and that's kind of like, I guess, 250 people. And that's kind of a weird number for me. That number I enjoy. If conferences get much bigger than that, I just find it a bit overwhelming, you know, too many people. And I probably enjoy more of the smaller meetups from like, you know, 10 to, like, if you're talking like a 2-day conference, you know, 10 to even 100 is pretty good because you actually get to meet a lot of people over the course of 2 days. If it's just like a couple of hours, and you really want to be 10 or 20, I think. Otherwise, for me, I find it a bit too much.
Yeah, me too. I really love that. I love that time to make real connections rather than it being really fast and, you know, like meeting loads of people and actually not being able to remember what people do and that kind of thing. I love that kind of real connection. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah. Are your people in your community, I guess, more local businesses? Because for me, I've always found like, it's interesting because I don't do very much networking in Prague, like almost nothing. I used to do, but I've realized that like of what I do, my two businesses, it's just global, like my customers all over the place. So I could go to meetups here, but it doesn't really benefit me apart from to meet new people. And to be honest, I prefer to meet new people from sport or different non-business things, I don't know. So are your people more kind of local business facing people?
Well, it's interesting actually, because when I started out with my business that I've got now online, I have a membership. So all the women in there are from different places in the UK. And I do have a community called the F Movement where there's women from all around the world. So as it started, it was more online. I network online and through different platforms and that kind of thing. And I am part of some virtual networking groups as well, where we get together on Zoom and get to meet different people. However, as I've progressed, I've realised that a lot of people in my community are local to me in York as well, which is where the idea for local meetups came from, because I get so much value and I just think it's so powerful when you can actually meet people face to face as well as online.
Definitely. And I think it's more like, because the world's just so online now, I mean, especially for kids, like it's just got a bit insane how much of their life is online, that people crave real world interaction more than they used to. I think that's why like events are never going away. Like it's always going to be, it's more interesting for people now, because like me, I for my work, I could just stay behind my computer almost all the time, and that would be my, I didn't necessarily need to meet people.
The ideal for an introvert.
Yeah, well, I mean, I run two businesses, Apps Events and Events Frame. Apps Events, we're a Google partner and we run events around the world. We do about 300 events a year. So like now I go to probably 10 of them a year, which is cool. That's a good number for me. I used to go to most of them.
Yeah.
Well, actually, all of them in the beginning, although it was a lot less than 300. And then Events Frame we've got, which you're a customer of, which is the event ticketing and management system. And that is kind of an online business. We never really meet customers, although I think we will more and more. But right now we haven't really met any customers face to face.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. I'm so pleased I've got it. It's really helped. Yeah, really helped me.
Good to hear. Why? So like your community, so how does it work? Like, is it a Facebook community and do you charge like an annual fee? How does that work? And how do you, I'm curious, like, I'm always fascinated by communities. How do you get members? How do you promote that community?
Yeah, okay. Well, it started off as, I do have a free community on Facebook, it was a few years ago when I set that up, called the F Movement. And the F Movement's all about, females, feminism, also things like, fun and family and all the F words, basically. I've been known to drop the odd F bomb as well, which I won't do on this. I'm going to behave myself. But yeah, it's also about, the frustrations, failures, all that kind of stuff that comes with running a business as well. So it started off as a free community. I've still got it. It's great. People are coming along all the time. Those people I meet face to face on LinkedIn or wherever, which is fab. And I kind of do some mini challenges in there to push people out of the comfort zone. But then I've also got a membership where, I've got clients in there who wanted a bit more of me because I am a coach. I'm a qualified coach. So I do help women find that confidence to be more visible. So
and
yes.
Do you use a free community to get members for your paid? Is that like a good source of people that you see are a good fit for you?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess people want to get to know someone first before they jump in. And especially my kind of community and the ladies I want to work with who are introverts will probably want to suss me out first. So it's a great way for people to kind of get to know me, see if I'm for them or not. And then, if they want to work with me, sometimes it works where I've worked with people one-to-one and then they want to carry on that support after we finish the intensive stuff. So It's a great place for, the peer support from the women in there is incredible. It's almost like, 'cause it's quite lonely, running your own business, isn't it? Especially if you're starting out. So it's a really good place to network and get that support, almost like you would with colleagues at your regular kind of job. So It's a great place to hang out. But I bring in guest experts. I do some one-to-one work with everybody. And then we have the meetups as well, which is what I've used your events frame for too.
Yeah, of course. I saw you. So you have your Introverts Talk business that you charge for. Is that so? That's kind of like, I guess that's open to anyone. You're charging a small amount, like 20 pounds or something like that. Is that kind of a sales tool for you, or people who come to that, are they members of your community, or are you doing that? Like, I'm curious, how are you getting people to come to your Introverts Talk business events?
But it's a mixture, actually, and it's really surprised me. So there's been people who I don't actually know at all through LinkedIn that have booked on. They've come from quite far, so not that local to York, to meet me and come along and see what it's like. And then I've got other women that are my members, that are in my membership, but also live locally and wanted to come and paid to come to that event. And it's networking with a difference. It's kind of like, you don't feel like you're going to network, but actually you do it without knowing. Because I've set it up in a certain way where you're talking about your business and everyone's getting feedback on their ideas, their struggles. It's almost a bit like coaching within a group, which
Cool.
I absolutely love.
No,
Yeah.
I definitely want to talk more about the structure, but just curious first, so I'm very curious about how you're promoting on LinkedIn. Are you creating an event on LinkedIn? Are you writing articles? Like how are you, because you said you're getting people from LinkedIn, like how are they finding out about the event on LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn stopped doing events, didn't it? It used to be able to list events on there. I don't think it has that anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't. Basically, I set it up on Eventframe using your tool. And then with that link, then I go out and promote it as I would with anything that I'm doing. So I go across the platforms talking about networking. I've wrote blogs about why people are missing out if they don't go to networking events and what it feels like to be an introvert when you want to go, but you're a bit scared to go because you're not sure.
So sorry to jump in. That's sort of content marketing, I guess. So you're writing the blog posts. Are you reposting those blog posts on like LinkedIn and different platforms as well, like Medium and things?
I'm all over the place and I'm on Twitter as well. And I've just started a Twitter chat for Introverts Talk Biz as well. That's for cool. Women who can't come to the local ones. Maybe they're really, miles away or whatever. But we get together on a Wednesday night. So it's networking online as well for introverts there. So that's going really well.
That's cool. So like, in terms of the marketing, do you find like LinkedIn's that, obviously you've got your members, but that's a separate thing. But if you're talking to people that are not, who don't know you and come to your events, is LinkedIn like what you'd say is working well for you in terms of your audience? I'm curious for people listening to this, what they can get in terms of, is LinkedIn a good channel to promote, some good content and get people to come to events?
It definitely is. And 6 months ago, I probably would have said, I'm not sure. But I've done a lot of work on LinkedIn and I've made loads of connections over there, which is brilliant from a business point of view. Yeah. But to be fair, I am across all the platforms. So I am on Instagram and I've got a following there. And I know people have bought tickets from there as well. So I'm Facebook and I kind of show up where I can.
Yeah.
I'm kind of leading from the front with that, trying to help other women be more visible too.
Definitely. Have you got like an Instagram business account then? Do you promote stuff on Instagram or do you just have a regular account?
I've got a business account on Instagram.
I've looked at that because they keep promoting it, and I've heard people say the fee, if you put like paid content, it's really cheap right now compared to anywhere else, like paid ads on Instagram. I don't know if you've ever done paid ads on Instagram, but I've heard it's quite a cheap channel right now to do that.
Yeah, it's quite similar to Facebook. I guess they're anyway, aren't they? So, and it just depends, what kind of reach you want to get and where you want to be with it, I think.
Sure.
It's great. Platform.
Yeah, no, definitely. So how many of these events like do you run a year, like the Introverts Talk Business? How often do you run these?
It's quite new. I'll be totally honest with you, Dan. I've been running events over a year now. My first one was last September.
Great.
Which was a big event, one that kind of I didn't really plan, but I just kind of fell into and thought, you know what, why not? Let's just try it. And it was a sellout and it was awesome, which was called Feeling Fierce. And it was for similar, for women in business to come along and listen to speakers.
Yeah.
From then, I kind of got the bug. So I was kind of like, I need to do some more of this because I really loved it. Because one of the things that has always scared me is public speaking. But so I've kind of thought, can I host my own events and then I have to speak? And that's kind of scary.
Sure.
But now I'm facing that fear now. Loving the events, having great feedback from it. So it's great. I've got another one next month. I'm trying to do them every month now.
I saw that. Yeah, it's good to have structure. I used to be scared. Like everyone's scared of speaking in front of people, I think. But now it's just, you could put me in front of 500 people and I don't even think about it anymore. Even if I'm not prepared, like I get a bit nervous, but I only at the last second, like the run up to it doesn't faze me at all anymore, which is weird because that used to terrify me.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to hear. That gives me some way. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. You just do it enough, So it looks to me like you're running most of your events at restaurants. How is that working? Because I always find like, I don't know, the distraction would worry me. Is that true that you're running at kind of restaurants and things like that? It's all wine bars and things?
Yeah. I met the lady who owns the wine bar, who is a fellow introvert as well. And I told her about my ideas and she's got like a space at the back. And because we're doing it on like a Friday morning before lunch was when it kind of started getting busy for her. And before that, it was really quiet. So it worked out really well for both of us, really, from a business point of view. And we've got our own separate space. So it's really intimate. And that's what I want it to be. I want it to have that feel where it's really comfortable environment for people.
Right. So you don't like find it sort of distracting in any way, but you find it's just, I guess, doing it in the morning gets rid of most of that.
Yeah, no distractions really, because it's quite quiet in the morning. So I think that was a good time for her to use that space.
Yeah, definitely.
great for me too as well. And actually promoting each other, and it works out really well. It's like a collaboration together. So that's fab.
That's cool. One thing I find is like, just especially in the beginning, it's just like one mistake people make all the time is just paying too much for venue, just losing money on an event because they commit to a conference room. And I always say anything you can do to keep your venue costs down in the beginning, and if you run it for free at a church hall or like a restaurant like you're doing. I run a lot of events at schools as well, and it really just takes away the stress of having to be on the hook for all the fees,
Yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing I didn't want to kind of go down the road of having to pay out a lot of money to do these things. I wanted it to be fun, and I wanted people to get a lot from it, as well as me as well. I'm meeting new women in business all the time, which is fabulous. I love that.
Yeah.
So venue is really important, I think, isn't it? To make sure that you don't kind of get something that's going to cripple you before you even start from a financial point of view.
Definitely. So what's you talked about the structure, like how you said you've got an interesting way you structure these events. How do you do that?
Well, I try and take into account the introvert side. So we get bios of people and photos before the event, so I can send that out to people in case they don't know each other, which they rarely do. So they can see who they want to talk to. They already know what people do, which is great. We have a secret Facebook group as well where they can connect there before and after. And I structure it so that everyone's got a name place, so there's none of that awkwardness when they arrive and that mingling that sometimes introverts don't really want to do. Just want to get down to it and enjoy the structure of the day. And then we have we'll go around the room and we talk about in small groups now, because I'm growing, which is great. So in small groups and talking about our business, our struggles, our ideas, and getting feedback from each other. And I do it in a structured way, which really works.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mastermind. If the mastermind context, I'm part of a couple of masterminds, and it's kind of similar to how we structure it.
Yeah, me too. And I love masterminds because I get so much from it. So it's almost like that on a bit of a lower scale, where women are then, making real connections and really getting to know each other's business. And when they walk out that room, they know exactly what everyone else is doing. So it's perfect. It's perfect that way.
Do you give a talk or something like to kick things off? Do some sort of presentation?
Yeah, I talk about, the purpose of the event and what I want them to get from it, and to and just what I'm about really, so that they can always, talk to me about my membership or any kind of one-to-one support they want afterwards. But I've got loads of ideas about how I'm going to develop it, and it works really well on my online membership to get guest experts in. So that might be something I introduce later on.
Definitely. Do you find like charging a small amount, but people pretty much always turn up? That's something I've found. If I just do a free open event, you never know who's going to come. But if you charge anything, say £20, people will generally come. Do you find that?
Yeah, definitely. If someone's invested £29, which is what it is at the moment, they'll make the effort to be there. I've done free things before in the past, and it's just, there's no commitment. I think there's got to be some element of commitment to get people through the door.
Sure. And what about your Club Fierce events? How are they different from the Introverts Talk Business events?
We kind of have a theme. So the one that we just did last Friday actually was around visibility. It's more of us kind of continuing the support and the relationships we've already made in the membership. And sometimes, I'll be totally honest, it's quite informal, and we have a few glasses of Prosecco and catch up, which is what we need, I think It's good to kind of relax and enjoy yourself, as well as working so hard on your business. It's nice to have some time out too.
It's true. I mean, events I run, I never run things in bars or restaurants, to be honest. But what I always do is have a networking event at a bar or a restaurant, and pretty much any event I'll do, we'll even buy the first drinks for people, and often that's the part people prefer, that's just because, you get to meet people who are speaking, you get to meet everyone. And so I pretty much always do that, unless there's if it's for some reason an event where everyone's driving and they're all leaving right after, then I wouldn't do it. But typically I would always try to do that event, the networking. I think it's really important. You're just fast forwarding straight to the networking venue, basically. Just not doing that.
I think so. And I always have a glass on arrival, Prosecco, for my members, because, we know each other already. So it's almost like family when we come together, and it's a really good laugh. And we do business too, don't get me wrong. But, we enjoy ourselves.
It's off. That's the way to do it. What percentage of your members come to these events? Is it something that most people are taking advantage of, do you think? Or will it be in the future?
Yeah, definitely. The events, my introverts events are my membership ones. Membership, yeah. I mean, it just depends on location. So I've just done one in York, but I had some of the ladies come up from London to join us for the day. and they stayed over, which was fab. But I do them in London as well, so that the ladies down there can, come down. And so I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. I've been in Leeds. It's like I've got quite a wide geographic area to kind of make sure that I can include everybody.
That's good.
But it's great because, such a close membership that no one wants to miss out. So they always want to come to them. So I try and accommodate as well as much as I can.
I'm curious, why it's women only? Why not just introverts in general?
I guess that's just to do with my own values around supporting and empowering women, my feminist values really. And just, being an introvert and a female, there's lots of things where we maybe don't speak up as much as we should and not always voice our opinions and feel like we can do things because we're not always the loudest in the room. But I just want people to realise that that's a different kind of strength and we have our own superpowers that we can use. Right.
I'm curious if you ever had any men have asked to apply to the group.
I have had some guys, and I've had, and I do talk to a lot of introvert guys on LinkedIn as well. Yeah. And some people have said to me, why can't you do it for guys? And I have worked with men. I have worked with men. So I just don't kind of promote that, I guess.
No, I think it's interesting. I think that's the online world, isn't it? Like you can niche down to find a group of people and you can choose what that is. You can say, I want to work with X segment of human beings, I want to work with these people only. And I think that's great. I think most entrepreneurs are men, I would say. I don't know if that's true or not. Just my impression from is so I'm sure that if there's a meetup, then men will more likely to dominate it. And I'm sure that that's probably something you've got going that, it's not, women are not going to feel that.
Yeah, I think there's some networking events out there that are the more traditional type of what we think of when we think of networking. Stand up, to give a 3-minute pitch. And sometimes I'm going to be honest, I feel like egos can get in the way of business and it's all suits and stuff like that. Whereas business is changing so fast and women setting up businesses, it's really growing because you can do it from a phone, basically, if you really wanted to. And I just find it fascinating how much women come out of their shells when it's a women-only group. And that's not me saying that there's no benefit to working with men. Of course there is, because, they run businesses and we need to work together, and that's what it's all about. But I do like to create that safe space for women to be themselves and be honest and get past their struggles. Yeah,
it's interesting. I think just generally, when I talk, I was saying before, I don't really go to networking events in Prague, but I went to a few in the beginning, and it was just annoying because my business is so different from anyone else's, and there's certain people who can benefit from these events, and they're generally people selling financial advice or recruitment consultants, or there's a few things, which is cool. They've got to make money, but it just, none of that interests me, whereas I mentioned I'm in this dynamite circle and it's pretty much all people running location independent businesses of different types, everything from software companies to membership groups to physical events, even everything, and that's cool because I go to that and it's a real niche of people, and it's exactly what I'm interested in. So I think it's important to have I don't think you can get too granular in your niche. I mean, you're going for female introverts. I think that's great. You could probably even go more specific, female introverts in Yorkshire. I don't know. There's probably something else you could niche down on in what you're doing. And I think that's what's great about the internet. You can get an audience of people with that, who fit into that group. Yeah, exactly. It's great, isn't it? And it's good to be able to kind of take your business in different directions and try different things out, which is what I love to do as well. Cool. Well, look, I think that's pretty much all for today. It's been really, really interesting to talk to you, and obviously all the best with your business. Do you have anything you want to promote? Any websites or offers or anything? Well, yeah, come check me out at gemmastow.com. I also have, if there are any introverts listening, I have a free guide on how to do networking, even if you hate talking to strangers. So yeah, I can pop a link on your show and people can grab that if they want that. Fantastic. Well, please do that. I'll be keen to read it as well. And thanks very much, Gemma. Great to talk. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Do you want to sell more tickets to your amazing events? EventFrame event ticketing has been built to minimize the amount of time it takes to buy a ticket. Result, you sell more tickets. Check out eventframe.com.